The two most important questions for getting sober. What are they? Let's find out. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Sobriety University. On this channel we talk about addiction and recovery related topics. My name is Joel, and in this video we're going to be talking about a really important one. The two most important questions to ask when trying to get sober. I found that these questions were kind of the catalyst in getting me sober. And after honestly answering them, I was like, okay, there's no way I can't take this leap of faith and try to quit these addictions here. So this video topic came from somebody that reached out and they're having a really hard time. They're at a certain age and they're not feeling so great about themselves. And it really made me reflect back when I was quitting and that moment where I decided, okay, this is the time to make this leap of faith, because I know that if I don't, the consequences are they're gonna come. They had already been there. However, in this situation, it was pretty dire. And of course, then I took these approaches and these questions and implemented them in other addictions as well. So what's great about addiction is once one gets tackled, the same kind of tactics can be implemented to quit other addictions as well. So the first question is, how is this really helping me? And before we continue, I just want to preface that in order for these questions to work, you got to be willing to be really honest with yourself, almost brutally honest. Without the honesty, these questions are just going to be kind of, floating dust in the ether. Like, I found that I had to be 100% honest and upfront with myself. This was a huge step in recovery as well, because a lot of time people in addiction are not always honest. I know I wasn't, and so this was a big step in learning how to embrace honesty and live an honest life. So continuing, the question was, how is this really helping me? And in the past, it would be like, okay, I get to get high. Like, that was period. Like, weed is the one I'm really talking about right now. In other addictions, it could be like, oh, I get to drink and go out with friends and party. When I got really bad though, that's where I had to be really honest and be like, okay, how is this really benefiting my life anymore? Maybe with porn, it was like, oh, I don't have to feel lonely. With sugar, it's like, oh, I get to go out to eat and go to fancy restaurants and stuff. However, as time went on, I had to be real honest and be like, okay, how is this actually affecting my life? How is this creating benefits, or is it really creating costs? And when I got honest, like I just mentioned, honesty is really key for this. It was mostly costs. So with weed, for example, I was wasting time. I was feeling more and more depressed, anxious, and paranoid. I was losing money. I was very isolated. I didn't have strong relationships with friends or family. And I was hanging around people that were kind of dangerous. And so when I had to be like, okay, what were the pros? Well, I don't really get that high anymore, so that's no longer a pro. Basically, I just get to escape reality, and that was, at one point, escaping reality was a huge win because reality used to suck. However, at this point, reality was better than the life of using, and so it was like, yeah, this is not benefiting anymore. Escaping reality is no longer fun. It's no longer pleasurable, and in fact, it's really taking years off my life here. So that leads into the second question, which I think is even more important than the first. And this one, when I asked it to myself, very shortly after I quit smoking weed. And I'm working on it right now with a couple addictions. Like, I eat too much salt. So it's like, I drove by this meat shop that I really like, and there's no sugar in it or anything, or gluten or whatever. However, they put a lot of salt in it, and that's why it tastes so freaking good. And I was right by it today, and I'm like, usually this is the time of the week where I go and pick up some meat, make some salty sandwiches or whatever. And I really had to ask myself that question I just talked to you about, which was, how's this benefiting my life? And the question was, or the answer was, that it really wasn't. It was just giving me puff, and basically I just got a quick high, and then I feel depressed for a day or two. So obviously those benefits are not worth it anymore, and as long as I keep asking that first question, I trust that I'm not going to go down that path again. The second question, though, is very important. This is the meat of it, pun intended. That question is, where will I be in the next 5 years if I don't stop today? And once I asked this question with any addiction, weed in particular, I was like, whoa, we're not playing around anymore. Life just got really real. Reality just kicked in big time. Because here's the thing, guys, no matter what happens, 5 years is gonna go by. No matter what, whether I die tomorrow, whether I live throughout for the next 100 years, 5 years is gonna pass. And I had to, as I was sitting in my bed, basically with the joint and bong in my hand, feeling depressed, feeling alone, miserable, anxious, worried, I was like, okay, Joel, in 5 years, if I continue what I'm doing, life is only gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better. It's not gonna get better. As much as maybe I used to wish it would, there was too many consequences. I was not getting high anymore pretty much because I was smoking all the time. I'm like, dude, life is just gonna suck even worse. Is that what you really want with your life? Hell no, you've worked too hard. You've tried too many things to find happiness. Obviously, weed is no longer that avenue. And in that, answering that question, I was able to quit. Another example would be like alcohol. When I was drinking heavily, when I was partying all the time, I was like, okay, man, you can even reduce this to like 3 years, to even 1 year. In the next, but we'll use the 5-year analogy here. In 5 years, what's gonna happen if I keep drinking? Well, I'm probably gonna still be single. I'm probably gonna be more overweight. I'm probably gonna be poor as shit. Probably gonna have gotten more accidents or more DUIs or whatever, more drinking tickets. There's nothing positive about this, and it was kind of scary. And the point of that question is kind of to elicit some fear, to be like, wow, dude, like if 5 years go by and I'm still sitting on my ass in the same position, how much worse am I gonna feel than I even do now, which is already terrible. And in doing that, it's like, okay, man, we have some options here. So now we're gonna kind of talk about what to do after these questions, because you might be feeling like, oh shit, well now I feel like ass, what do I do? Well, very simply, we tighten our belt, buckle up our bootstraps, and we get to work. We start quitting one day at a time. We put down the substance. What I did was I sold all my weed. Actually, I was selling weed. I gave it all away. I gave all my weed away, gave all my pieces, grinder, bong, pipes, hemp wick, dab torch, everything. I just gave it to people. Got rid of everything I had that was related to weed. With alcohol, I just stopped buying it. Of course, that was an easy one. Food, I got rid of everything in my cupboards that were trigger foods. And porn, I kind of set some blockers for a while that I wouldn't go to certain sites. And I stopped having internet at my place, so that was a big win, and it really helped. I actually still don't have internet at my place because it's just kind of nice not to have it. It makes me have to go out to the library or something. I'm obviously not going to watch porn at the library, so that issue was solved there. With caffeine, I had to stop going to these certain places and really start making these drastic actions to start moving the wheel in the right direction. And eventually I just had to say, I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go through the pain, because the pain of being 5 years from now in a worse place than I am now ain't even worth the thought. The pain I'm gonna experience in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year is gonna be way less, even though it's gonna hurt like a bitch. It's gonna be way less than the pain I'm gonna feel 5 years from now when I'm still in the same position. I'm even older, I have more issues to resolve, and my life's basically just trickling away. And that fear was enough to get my ass going, to get me into gear and to quit these freaking addictions, because, well, I wanna live a free life. And today I get to live that life because I made that decision 6+ years ago. And I remember reflecting at the 5-year mark, and I'm like, wow, Joel, I'm so grateful that you made that decision 5 years ago. Like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so relieved, and I'm happy you're on my side. So do this for yourself, if anything. Do this for your future self that's gonna be proud of you that you made this decision now. And who knows where your life might go. It can evolve in so many different ways. I never thought I'd be making YouTube videos. I never thought I'd be dating. I thought I was gonna be single my whole life. I never thought I'd be fit and healthy, which I am today. And so those are all motivators for me, and made this video motivate you as well. Comment down below if you were going through this. Would love to chat about it. With that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and talk to you soon. Peace.